Story 1. Celebrate small things about yourself. Did you clip your nails? Those nails look good. Made yourself breakfast? You did well. Little things add up. Story 2. A long time ago, I hated myself. Today, I still don't like myself, but I give myself much more understanding and a break on certain things. It's a journey, and you don't get there overnight if you struggle with self-hatred. Story 3. It's a good question. Ideally, I cook for myself or buy something enjoyable. I play a peaceful video game that feels like home. I stretch or lift weights while watching a movie. Realistically, though, this is mostly replaced by the habit of drinking alcohol in hopes of loving myself and finding peace of mind. Story 4. Here is as far as I ever got. Step 1. Look in the mirror and ask what you dislike about yourself and why. Consider whether these qualities are present in other people you know, and if you love them despite or because of these qualities. Step 2. Self-respect. This can start with being mindful of your self-talk. Once, I made a disparaging comment to a friend about work that I had done, but it was actually work he had done for me. He got flustered and said, "Well, it was a personal favor, and I did the best I could." I realized that if it wasn't acceptable to say something like that to him, then how could it be acceptable to speak to myself that way all day? Every day? Step 3. Be easy on yourself. Pretend you are speaking your self-talk to another person. If you can't say something positive, at least try not to dwell on the negative. Step 4. There isn't one yet. That is as far as I have ever gotten. I don't love myself. I never learned how to do anything beyond accepting myself. However, not loving yourself is okay. Loving yourself feels too unrealistic for me. I would prefer a nod of recognition, mutual respect, or a firm handshake rather than seeking a hug every time. Story 5. Simple but effective. I stopped waiting to become slim to wear cute clothes or to be perfect to try new things. Life is too short to put happiness on hold. Story 6. Everyone has interests. Pursuing them helps you find yourself. Once you find yourself, it becomes easier at that point. You will experience stress and there will be highs and lows, but when the day is done, you are stronger in the end. Story 7. Self-care includes taking long baths, following a skincare routine, and cooking or baking something I love to enjoy. I also take spicy photos of myself. Even if I never post them, it helps boost my confidence. Story 8. Taking care of myself involves establishing healthy boundaries with those around me. Exercising, eating well, being assertive in my communication, and making time for the activities I genuinely enjoy. Story 9. Doing self-care is important. Just as you would try to discover what your crush likes or loves, make an effort to understand yourself in the same way. Be a little less hard on yourself and allow yourself to enjoy activities that bring you joy and heal your inner child. Story 10. I am the only one I will be with from the start to the end. Why wouldn't I love myself? Story 11. If you have a hard time loving yourself, try to understand why that is. Do you think less of yourself than others? Do you feel like your accomplishments are less inspiring? Or is it because your inner voice keeps criticizing what you do? If it is your inner voice, there is a lot of information about the misconceptions regarding the inner voice and inner critic, and the belief that the inner voice represents you as a person. If it is about comparing yourself and your accomplishments to others, stop. The competition is not with them. Focus on how you can be a better version of yourself, and try one thing to improve each day. Finally, start by looking at yourself as a friend. Think about what you would say to a friend. Wouldn't you say it to them? Then don't say it to yourself. You may think you are not good enough, and if that is the case, I invite you to think of the most worthless person you can imagine. Compare yourself to such a person. I am willing to bet you are better than that mental image of worthlessness. Story 12. I stopped apologizing for taking up space. I used to say sorry for everything, like bumping into furniture, asking questions at work, and even eating during my lunch break. One day, I realized, why am I apologizing for existing? And I started to work on it. Story 13. Firstly, love is an action, not a feeling. You don't feel love for yourself. You show love to yourself. Here are some examples of how you can show love to yourself. Physical. Take an extra long shower to really clean your hair and body. Invest time in skincare, hairstyling, and dressing up. Paying attention to yourself is important. Check in with your physical health. Write down anything abnormal that should be discussed with a physician. This is more important than simply eating healthy and exercising. You can maintain a healthy diet and exercise, but if you have allergies, hormone issues, or insulin resistance, you may still be unhealthy. Mental. Seek therapy if you can afford it and need it. Set goals for yourself, even if they are just daily goals. Journal. It doesn't have to be every day. Write as much or as little as you want to reconnect with yourself. Surround yourself with people and situations that bring you contentment. Establish boundaries and enforce them to limit unnecessary drama and negativity in your life. Emotional. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. This could include hobbies, social interactions, and other enjoyable pursuits. Acknowledge your emotions. They are an essential part of you and deserve your attention and care. Just as you would care for a crying friend or family member, care for yourself. Wrap up in blankets, order takeout, and watch a movie. Lean on people who care about you during tough moments and reciprocate that support. Spiritual. Reflect on your core beliefs and values. Build your life around these principles. Have conversations with others about what you believe and value to discover more about yourself. Whether you hold firm or easily waver, take pride in your beliefs and how informed you are about them. This exploration is beneficial for self-discovery. Story 14. Care less about others, their opinions, and what they say. They can start judging when they are perfect, which no one will ever be. So why should I be? Story 15. When I'm having a bad day, I make sure to give myself a lazy day and order my favorite foods to feel a little better. I relax in bed or do something I never have time for, like gaming or watching shows. Story 16. Go walking and enjoy full-body yoga stretching videos. I bought a one-person infrared sauna so I can have nice self-care days without leaving home. Eat good and delicious healthy foods. Practice being thankful every day. Story 17. Do things I may not want to do, but I know they are good for me. Cooking a healthy meal, going outside. I am Finnish and I dislike the cold. And socializing even when it might feel uncomfortable at first. You do not just wake up one day and love yourself. You have to work for it, and the feeling comes gradually. Story 18. In my case, I stay true to my convictions. That way, I can always look myself in the eye when I look in the mirror and know I acted correctly. Therefore, I never disappoint myself. What is not to love about that? Story 19. Do my best and enjoy the little things. Whatever makes me happy in each moment. I have anxiety, and I have been working on being more present, which has helped a lot. Story 20. I have been reflecting on what abandoning yourself means over the past few months. I encountered this concept for the first time in September 2023, and for a while I struggled to understand its meaning. I realized that I am becoming better at being kind to myself, but I still wouldn't consider myself a good friend to myself. I am actively working on this. One of my resolutions this year is to commit to myself as I would commit to a close friend whom I really care about or want to know better. Story 21. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't take personally what others say. Take care of your health and connect with your family. Story 22. Try to make time for the little things that make me happy. After a long day of teaching, I try to play a little Animal Crossing or read my book. On weekends, my husband and I choose a restaurant we enjoy for a date night, so we don't have to worry about cooking or washing dishes. Story 23. I go to the gym 3 times per week, shifting my mindset to viewing it as personal hygiene. I hated going to the gym for a long time until I was able to rationalize it as not wanting to go to work with unwashed clothes and unbrushed teeth. Story 24. I love washing my bed linens, making my bed, and then spreading out under the covers. I don't know why that is such a good feeling, but it is stimulating and fills me with joy. In general, I love myself. I like to eat well and exercise. I also focus on my personal choices and self-reflection. I have had a rough life, but I am smoothing things out. I love myself for gaining insight and recognizing that I can build the life I want. Story 25. Working out is my personal time, so I ensure I spend at least 1 to 2 hours daily on it. I enjoy writing, so I set aside some time on the weekends for that. I went a bit overboard buying myself things last year, so now I do it in a more regulated way, purchasing something significant once every quarter from my wish list. Story 26. Don't look at others. This means not to worry about other people's opinions and approval. Focus on yourself first and try to love yourself for who you are, rather than for others. Story 27. Set aside your obligations and lay down on the grass. Gaze at the stars. Stare at the ocean waves. Watch the fire dance. You know what you enjoy. Story 28. Be kind to yourself when you make mistakes. They are an opportunity to learn, not an indication that something is wrong with you. Listen to music that makes your soul happy. Treat yourself by buying or making a nice lunch and feel grateful that you can do that. Go for walks. Breathe in the fresh air and take in the scenery. Get enough sleep. It is very important. Positive self-affirmations, while they may feel silly at first, really help as well. Story 29. If I make a mistake and start feeling incompetent, I stop and tell myself that if it were another person, I would forgive them and give them a chance to improve and correct it. I should forgive myself as well. Story 30. Take care of your body. Exercise and eat healthy food. Doing this honors yourself and all the amazing things your body is capable of. Mental wellness will follow. Story 31. Knowing the source of why you don't love yourself is always connected to childhood. Once you work on healing that, everything seems easier. You already love yourself. You are living and moving forward. Story 32. By holding myself to the highest possible standard I can imagine and beyond, and by asking people to hold me accountable to who I aspire to be, I strive to live up to my highest potential despite all obstacles and challenges. Loving myself means being able to thank my younger self consistently for making good decisions that have a lasting impact. Story 33. I let myself have fun. I have cut off friends who were bringing me down in several ways. I broke up with my ex, with whom I was 2 months shy of being together for 3 years, and it was the best decision of my life. He was difficult. It took me a long time to get to where I am today. I have learned not to care about what people think. I wear whatever I want and do my hair and makeup however I like, without feeling the need to impress anyone else. I have never been happier. Story 34. This may sound odd, but I was abusing drugs and gambling everything I had on a daily basis for several years. The only thing I did right during that time was being a caregiver for my very old blind dog, whom I loved more than anything. After my beloved dog died, my brother told me it was time to start loving myself the way I loved my dog. I knew then that I would never give my dog drugs or gamble his money or let his dreams fade away. By not doing drugs or gambling, I was loving myself and opening the way to build a life that I love again. The best part is that now, when I look back, I see that perhaps my dog saved my life. Story 35. Accept and be grateful for myself right here, right now on a daily basis. Some days it may be hard. Other days it will be easy. Regardless, every day I say I love myself and I love my life as I am now. Story 36. Exercise and a self-care routine, like teeth whitening, dyeing my eyebrows, and applying face masks, are important. It may sound vain, but taking time to look at myself in the mirror has really helped with my self-image. It has allowed me to accept and appreciate how I look. This practice helps me step away from social media and camera filters and just see myself in a regular mirror, especially since some social media cameras automatically apply filters. Story 37. Honor. Do not cheat or lie about important matters. Strive to be honest and kind. Aim to perform well in whatever you undertake, as this fosters self-respect. Next, be kind to yourself and assert your boundaries by clearly communicating them. It is challenging, but I believe this approach can be effective. It is difficult because we all have setbacks and moments of disappointment. I would suggest incorporating self-forgiveness and setting realistic expectations. Story 38. Let go of unnecessary shame and forgive myself for past mistakes. exercise regularly and eat well, talk to my therapist weekly and prioritize my mental health. Remind myself that what is good for me may not always be easy, but it does not have to be extremely difficult either. Story 39. Is there a way to love yourself? I don't know. I tend to be mean to myself constantly, so I can't think of ways to actually pamper myself. Story 40. I don't, but I do. This doesn't make sense, but love is just a lot of feelings and thoughts, and neither is real. Story 41. Exercising, eating healthy, avoiding alcohol, maintaining a skincare routine, reading books, putting in effort at school and work, striving to be the best mom I can be, and making music. Story 42. Believing in myself, being proud of myself, and not worrying about other people's opinions. Eat well, sleep well, dress well. Story 43. For me, self-love is exercise, strength training, art, meditation, and finding a way out of my current homeless situation. Story 44. Accept the things you cannot change. Change the things you can. Every day, work a little more toward that change. And forgive yourself. Story 45. I decided that, as a libertarian, other people determine the impact I have on them. If they say forgiveness is not necessary or has been granted without reservation, I can appreciate myself. Story 46. I love myself by doing the things I enjoy, and it's like leveling up my energy. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or expensive. I play video games, spend time with my friends, and enjoy my favorite foods. I need to keep my energy up to stay balanced and face the challenges that life brings. Not everyone will be kind to me, so I should at least be kind to myself. Story 47. I create beautiful, healthy meals and enjoy eating them. Cooking has been my form of art therapy since childhood. Story 48. Think about saying the things you say to yourself to your younger self. Imagine telling 6-year-old you that you are fat, ugly, and lazy. Imagine telling 4-year-old you that nobody will love you. You will change how you see yourself. Story 49. I maintain a chart of small daily self-care habits and aim to practice as many as possible each day. This includes activities like gratitude journaling, using the treadmill, reading, and therapy exercises. I also enjoy watching movies featuring actors, directors, or genres that interest me. I allow myself to take small steps toward my goals on days when I lack the strength for anything more. I challenge myself to engage in activities that are scary or difficult, such as traveling. I seek out supportive communities, whether hobby or professional groups. I take my medications and consult a doctor periodically. I use an app to limit my time on social media. Ironically, I avoid people who say, "No one can love you until you learn to love yourself." I have had negative experiences with individuals who express such sentiments. They often come across as selfish. I have never heard a kind, accepting person say that. Story 50. Set reasonable goals. You can achieve them when you reach those milestones. Be proud of your accomplishments, and then set new goals to pursue. Story 51. Forgiving oneself for the past comes from reflection, learning, and understanding. It is not easy, but once you figure out how to forgive yourself, you will have more compassion for yourself moving forward. We try to do this for the people we love, but we are often hesitant to extend that same kindness to ourselves. Story 52. I surround myself with people who genuinely want the best for me. I do my best to exercise regularly, eat well, and drink plenty of water. When I do not meet my own expectations, I give myself some grace. I try to have fun when I can and find humor in little things. I brush my teeth every day and make an effort to get enough rest. I believe self-love starts with action, and regular self-care leads to self-love. Story 53. By achieving your goals and being who you have always wanted to be, it is normal to struggle with self-acceptance when there are things you do not like about yourself. However, it is up to you to make changes for the better. Story 54. First, you have to accept that you are a human being just as deserving of love as anyone else. Until you do that, no amount of effort in this direction will achieve anything. For me, the only time I could even approach that is after moments when things got bad enough that I would break down crying. Your post-cry self is by far the more forgiving and accepting version of you, so learn to trust your self-assessments in those moments. Also, start doing things that make you feel good, even when you don't want to, like exercising, maintaining hygiene, cleaning the house, doing yard work, and so on. Accomplishing those tasks, even if it's only small ones like taking a walk around the block, makes you feel like a somewhat functional adult and can help you feel better about yourself in general. But ultimately, the thing you need to grapple with is learning how to forgive yourself, and this is the challenging part. It requires sincere but not harsh self-examination and introspection about why you hold yourself to such an unachievable standard that you wouldn't hold anyone else to. I can't really give specific advice here because this is unique to you, but one thing I heard that helped me a bit was to get into the habit of breaking the cycle of self-criticism by asking myself, would my mother forgive me for doing this? Then why shouldn't I forgive myself for it? Story 55. I engage in activities that enhance my self-respect and boost my confidence, such as exercising even when I don't feel like it. I willingly accept responsibilities through meaningful and challenging work that benefits others, and I focus on my personal growth instead of criticizing myself. Story 56. I went to film school to study acting straight out of high school. Many people tried to talk me out of it, telling me that I needed a fallback. There were a couple of times I almost listened, but I wasn't going to spend my life wondering just so I could make good money at a desk somewhere. I never let money run my life anyway. Cut to graduation from acting school. I was one of the first students to get a talent agent, and I never looked back. Today, I am a full-time voice actor working my own hours from home, acquiring my own clients, and I have talent agents in Canada, Los Angeles, and the United Kingdom. I couldn't be happier with the path I chose. Story 57. I prioritize myself in major decisions. I do not have children due to social pressure or to please others. I take care of myself when necessary. I left jobs I disliked and did not enter relationships just to feel less lonely. I waited for genuine love. I nourish my body with quality homemade food and allow myself to take naps during the week if needed. I avoid maintaining superficial friendships that do not add value to my life. I mostly choose to keep to myself. Story 58. Love is more than an emotion. It is also action. Love isn't always what makes you feel good, but what is best for you. Just as you wouldn't let a child eat ice cream all day, skip school because it is not enjoyable, and leave their room messy, you should not allow yourself to engage in such behaviors either. Self-love is not simply about spoiling yourself, just as loving a child is not solely about spoiling them. Story 59. Accept yourself unconditionally and without judgment, exactly as you are. This means disregarding societal and familial expectations of you as well. Story 60. Giving myself grace, learning how to forgive myself, and accepting both the good and bad parts of me. Setting boundaries and learning how to say no when I do not want to do things. Story 61. I do not really buy into the whole new trend of self-love and self-care. It seems somewhat egotistical. You just have to be okay with yourself. If you are not, make the changes to be. Volunteer your time, give to charity if you are able, and find ways to help others. It does wonders for self-esteem and creates a new sense of gratitude. Story 62. I am striving to maintain a healthy lifestyle by taking care of my mental and physical health, studying and learning new skills. I realize it may seem unconventional, but this approach has been effective for me. Story 63. I got myself in the best shape of my life, which has been the ultimate self-love for me. Having a really healthy diet has made me feel so good from the inside that I feel younger than ever. I enjoy simple meals while watching television. Words of affirmation felt awkward at first, but they work over time. I am also learning to prioritize myself after a lifetime of giving so much with little reciprocation. I'm almost 37 and haven't loved myself until now. It has taken 2 years to get here, but I will continue to move forward. Story 64. You accept your flaws and understand that you are human. We will never be perfect. Mistakes are made to learn from, and there will always be room for growth. Always forgive yourself for the past. God bless. Story 65. I believe loving yourself is different from loving other people. You could say, never give up on yourself. This is because giving up on yourself or not giving up results in many significant changes in your life. Never giving up on someone else could lead to issues such as needing a restraining order. Story 66. Embrace your flaws and forgive yourself for any guilt you may feel. Most importantly, be in tune with your emotions and accept yourself for who you truly are. Story 67. Learn to forgive yourself and accept yourself, even the parts you don't initially like. When you find yourself falling into behaviors you're ashamed of, approach that shame with curiosity and kindness, just as you would if your best friend confided in you about something vulnerable. Hug yourself. Your nervous system can't distinguish between you hugging yourself and someone else hugging you. Celebrate your achievements. Buy yourself flowers. Write affirmations. It may sound cheesy, but it works over time as it slowly reprograms the way you talk to yourself. Notice when you're being mean to yourself, learn to apologize to yourself and start being kinder. Treat yourself like your best friend, partner, and child all at once, and take care of yourself as you would someone else. Accept that you won't be perfect on this journey. Perfection doesn't really exist anyway. I went on a journey with this over the last 2 years, moving from feeling shame-bound to genuinely adoring myself, and I love it. I still fall into old patterns, but I'm getting better at taking care of my physical and emotional needs. It was hard work and sometimes still is, but it's worth it. If you're new to the concept of loving yourself, it can help to start with self-neutrality before progressing to self-love. Get rid of self-hatred first. Gradually change your thoughts from "I'm the worst" or "I messed up again" to "I'm human, and humans make mistakes, and that's fine, and I have weaknesses, and I also have strengths, and everyone does." Work towards thoughts like "I'm okay," and eventually "I'm awesome. I love myself so much. I'm here for myself, and I have my back through thick and thin. I deserve rest, and my strengths are many, and my weaknesses are part of what makes me human, relatable, and beautiful, and I can learn and grow. I feel more like myself than ever, and it's amazing. Another useful tip in the beginning is to explore inner child psychology and genuinely care for your inner child. This can help you feel comfortable doing this for yourself, and you'll stop viewing your inner child as a separate entity, recognizing that it is part of you. Story 68. Self-compassion, curiosity, grace, and empathy mixed with a variety of hobbies that bring me joy or pride, no matter how big or small. This is a great conversation, and I appreciate the question because it took me 37 years to realize that I needed to give myself the energy I had been trying to give to others. I hope you are young and practice these things consistently. It will help you enjoy life more. Story 69. I try to keep myself living in the moment. I'm a rather emotional person, and I have emotional needs that can often directly disagree with my logical goals and needs. To be fair to myself and the whole of me, I prioritize treating everyone with kindness, being intentional about my goals and dreams, and allowing myself to experience emotional moments along the way. Progress may feel slow at times, but when I reflect on where I was 5 years ago, how I grew up, and what I've overcome, I am proud of how far I've come. In short, I strive to keep the big picture in perspective and realize that I'm only human. Story 70. Do not identify with your mistakes. Be someone you admire. Take actions that a person you admire would take. Story 71. Allowing myself to rest and do nothing when needed without feeling guilty about it. Spending time reading the books I love. Ensuring I eat, shower, and get exercise. Story 72. Make the right decisions in my life. Avoid being selfish with my time or energy. Give to the people around me, and be kind to those I encounter. Story 73. Love equals acceptance. It is okay to be who you are, to feel what you feel, and to think what you think. The more you practice this, the easier it gets, and the more at peace you will be with yourself. However, there will never be a point where you are finished with the process. You must accept your quirks every day for the rest of your life. Story 74. Honestly, this one is really hard, especially if you have depression. I started with the parts one liked most about myself, like my hair and my eyes. If I had bags under my eyes, I would use under-eye patches to get rid of them. If my hair was tangled, it dragged down my self-esteem, so I always brushed it out and curled it to feel better. I wore cute outfits that boosted my mood. Sometimes I did my makeup, which helped raise my self-esteem. Eventually, you begin to love yourself and it improves your confidence. However, there are still days when you feel like you really hate the way you look, and those days can feel like a nightmare. But those days pass and you get through it. Story 75. Set yourself up for future success. When you regret how the past has led to your present state, start thinking about who you want to be and help your future self reach that point. Story 76. By taking care of myself, I do my best to keep healthy and agile, and that, in turn, makes me feel great. Story 77. By looking down on others, to love something requires you to hate something else. So, get busy hating. Story 78. Walking 10,000 steps provides a different experience compared to walking below 10,000 steps, as the latter may not trigger a dopamine boost. However, exceeding 10,000 steps creates a unique feeling. Story 79. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. The shadows will disappear under the light. Just meditate and be compassionate about your struggles and your voids. Story 80. When I'm not at work, I've recently started feeling like I'm just going to do what I want rather than feeling obligated. I've seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy so many times, and I know I have a lot of movies in my backlog, but I'd rather watch Lord of the Rings. I know I have many unplayed video games on my shelf, but I want to start another playthrough of Elden Ring, so I will. This feeling extends beyond entertainment. I don't feel like putting the energy into dating right now, so I won't. Story 81. Self-forgiveness, patience, compassion, and kindness are qualities you would offer to a loved one. Extend them to yourself. Allow yourself to experience both negative and positive thoughts. Embrace the full spectrum of who you are. Being aware of the worst you are capable of gives you real control over your actions, allowing you to take responsibility. This, in turn, leads to pride and love for what you choose to do and who you choose to be. Story 82. Find a therapist and discuss your problems. Paradoxically, people who love themselves do not dwell on it. The typical state of self-perception is neutral. That is, you do not think too much about it. It is similar to how you can be silent with someone you enjoy. Story 83. Short answer: I don't. Long answer: I try to do whatever I can to avoid failure so that maybe one day I can succeed. Story 84. I'm not sure if you are talking about actions or attitudes. Christ commands me to love my enemies. Story 85. I don't love myself. I'm just realistic about my circumstances. If I'm doing well, that's great. If I'm doing poorly, then I need to figure things out. Story 86. Right mostly, but left occasionally gets a chance. Oh, I see. Story 87. I simply do. I try new things and embrace a little silliness. Then I look for characters I admire to emulate. For example, Uncle Iroh from Avatar, The Last Airbender. Story 88. Understanding that I am human and make mistakes. I acknowledge that I am not perfect and never will be. I have made mistakes in my life, but I have also grown from them. If I take 2 steps backward, I will not criticize myself. Humans tend to dislike discomfort. If I need time to adjust before stepping out of my comfort zone, that is perfectly acceptable. Story 89. I spent the first 30 years of my life thinking I was a man, feeling miserable and neglecting my well-being, simply enduring until something would eventually come along and end my life. For me, embracing self-love has been a process of transition. Story 90. I have a movie night by myself. I can watch any horror movie I want and enjoy my favorite snacks. Story 91. Step 1. Stop being your own worst critic. Step 2. Do things that make you feel alive, even if it's just enjoying your favorite song. Step 3. Repeat. That's it. Story 92. The amount of hard work I am doing, the dedication I put in, and the results I achieve make me love and respect myself. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.